My name is Kris Gethin, and what I aim to bring to you is inspiration, motivation from clients, everything that will allow you to evolve as a human being. Hello, everybody. This is the Kris Gethin podcast. Again, we are starting with the client spotlight. The reason why I like to do this is because I want somebody to relate to somebody else other than myself, because a lot of people can't relate to me. But I guarantee you, of all the thousands of clients I've trained over the years, there is somebody going through the same struggles, that have the same commitments, the same responsibilities as you do. And one of these highlights, who's one of my favorite people that I've ever trained, because he does absolutely everything that I tell him, and his name is Swama. Thank you very much for joining me, brother.
Hey, Kris. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, buddy. So to begin with, I'm going to start off with showing people some of your images here. Now, I'm showing you in front of the camera here, but we are also going to put some of these images up on the YouTube for you to see ourselves. So what weight were you there in this picture?
So I think it was around 110 kgs, so around 240 pounds.
240 pounds there. Okay. And as you can see, like, people go, oh, he must be sticking his belly out. No, you cannot hide the love handles from the back.
Yeah, right.
And then we will show pictures of you just your transformation images here. Well, these are progress images, actually, not transformation images here.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us what sort of weight you are there?
So right now I am around 78 kgs, probably around 180 pounds.
180 pounds, yeah. So you dropped over 50, 60 pounds. And obviously you can see that you have put on a substantial amount of muscle in these images as well. Of course, you know, you're very busy, you travel a lot, but you're also vegetarian. And a lot of people use that as an excuse. Oh, I'm a vegetarian, I can't have the amount of proteins that I'd like to have. I don't have the versatility within my food. I'm just not going to be able to put on that amount of muscle. Well, I'm going to be very transparent here. You are one of my favorite success stories because of the unbelievable transformation that you have gone through. You dropped not only a lot of body fat, but you put on a substantial amount of muscle as well. Now, obviously, those are the pictures that I'm showing that are progress, but you even went down lower than that when you just got ripped to go on holiday, basically, in Hawaii. Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, what is your background in regards to fitness? What are the responsibilities that you have? And what experience do you have in weight training prior to you signing up with the one-on-one coaching with me?
I've been very lean guy from the start. Okay. Till the time of my graduation, okay, I was very, very lean, in the sense that I won't call it lean. It was basically, I was skinny. Okay. So I have a background in computers. So I am a software developer for a company here in Seattle. So I started my work in India. And once I started this particular job, right? So before, when I was in college, right? Probably I feel that I was more active, in the sense that I had so many things to do during my whole day. And I used to travel like 30 miles, which is quite some distance in India. And it takes quite a lot of time because of the roads and the traffic. So yeah, I was quite active at that point of time, but I was not doing any sort of daily exercise, and I was not on a program as such. So once I got into my job, right? I mean, this is a desk job. Okay, it requires you to sit down for like 8 hours, 10 hours. Okay, and probably some days when you are back at your home, then also you need to work, right? It depends on the time of the year. So I mean, it's a pretty static job where you are not very active. So then what happened after a year of my job, I started seeing that I started gaining weight, which was not happening when I was actually in my college, because I remained almost the same throughout those 4 years. And I was getting fatter day by day. And after that, I started thinking that I should start going to gym. Okay. Because, and that time I didn't know anything about how to work out. I didn't know anything about like how to eat the right stuff and what to eat, and like how do I need to eat for meeting my goals as such. So yeah, I started going gym like a newbie, and then in India, I mean, you need to. There are so many people, they call themselves experts, that you meet in the gyms, and then I also got trapped into that. I ended up doing personal training. I ended up basically paying for it, but it never yielded in some sort of result. For them, it was basically mostly that they need to give 1 hour to me on a daily basis in the gym, and they didn't know anything about the nutrition. Okay, and they were actually in other stuff like selling me supplements and stuff like that. So yeah, it was not going good. But slowly, when I started looking up on the internet, I came across bodybuilding.com in 2014. And then over there were like 3 4 programs at that point of time. I mean 3 4 creators, I would say. So you were there, Jim Stopani was there. So these were the 2 people that had programs that I wanted to do. So I started with your program, which was your first program, like 12 weeks hardcore trainer or something like that. So I started doing that, although I didn't know how to do all the exercises and stuff like that, but I started mimicking you in the gym. So I used to have your videos, and in that program, you also basically the exercises that I need to do, right? So bodybuilding.com also had a link for a reference video to that. So I started looking at them, and then I started following. So obviously, in 3 months, I was able to drop some weight, but since I was not that effective in the gym because mind muscle connection was not there, my technique was not right? Because the thing is that, yeah, I can see you doing the exercise, but I mean, the form that works well for you, and given the amount of experience you have, right? I mean, you are able to get the most out of it. But in my case, if I'm doing, for example, chest press, right? It's all coming out of my shoulders and triceps. So the next day, my shoulders and triceps would be in place of my chest. So it was a lot of hit and miss. But yeah, I did, as you said over there, like I was not on point with the diet, but when it comes to the program, I was doing as it is. Like when you were doing the DTP, I used to do DTP in the gym, and I mean, we were doing those pyramid reps for the squats and stuff like that. So I started liking the whole thing, and slowly, then I got experience, and then I got better at mind muscle connection as well. But my food was never on point. Okay, so the thing is that I was exercising, it was making me feel good, but on the other hand side, I was eating food that generally we eat in India. I was going out, I was having my biryanis and stuff like that, right? So I was still getting fat. Yeah, but it was feeling good, right? So, and I always used to wonder, like, oh, why am I not getting abs? I'm doing whatever Kris is saying, because I used to feel like most of it is exercising rather than dieting, for especially for getting ripped, right? So yeah, so probably I was gaining some muscle, although since I was a newbie, but my diet was not on point. Probably I would have made uh, better. I would have had a better outcome if I was on point with diet, because newbie gains are really a thing, right? So I would have made much more muscle at that point in time. But yeah, but whatever I had, I had. Then I came to Seattle. So I actually never knew anything about nutrition till 2017. And then after that, COVID hit. There were a few things going on in my life as well. So I stopped training at that point in time because I got busy. And because of COVID, the gyms were closed and shut down, right? So, and then again, I was back at the point where I was not moving at all. And during those 6 months, I actually put on a lot of weight, and my friends were not able to identify me who were in India. And they were like, oh man, you are a completely changed person. And I ended up gaining like 30 40 pounds because I was ordering food from outside. And I was like I was very lazy, in short. And then I saw one of your reel on Instagram, and then I thought like, oh, it's been like 4 years or 5 years. I've been training, I've been going on hiking and stuff like that, right? And I've been trying different stuff, but it has never worked for me. Like I used to follow Instagram influencers and things like that. They used to say, oh, you can have burger every now and then, things like that. And I used to follow them. But the thing is that they don't tell you that the 90% of times what they do in their life, right? They are just telling you that 5-10%. And if you end up following that 5-10%, you won't get the results that they have. So yeah, so it was not working for me. Then I contacted you, and yeah, after that it's basically a success story, in the sense, especially for me, that every week we were making progress. And I mean, I learned a lot when it comes to nutrition. I didn't know anything at that point of time, but I learned a lot even when it comes to training, right? So I learned a lot over there as well. So yeah, it's been a huge success for me. Otherwise, basically, there was a point when I personally felt probably for me, getting in shape would be like next to impossible, or probably I could be that average Joe that you see who is around 20-25% body fat, which basically majority of the population is. And I can get there and be there because I didn't know the recipe to actually get to my prime.
And during this time, when especially during COVID and when you're struggling to take off the weight, because, the one thing that I want to mention to the listeners and the viewers right now is that you are definitely one of the most rigid and strict and scheduled clients I've ever worked with. Like, you send me your daily updates via WhatsApp of what you've eaten at what time you go to bed, what time you wake up, absolutely everything to the T. And you go to bed early. You go to bed very, very early, which I think is a pivotal part of people's transformation to adhere to their circadian rhythm. Like, did you always go to bed early, or were you one of those people that I'd say is kind of typical in India, who would stay up pretty late?
So the thing is that, when I was till the time of my college, I was sleeping early, because the thing is that I was living with my parents, right? And my parents used to sleep early, and they used to make me sleep early as well, right? Because they always used to ask me question, what are you doing so late in the night and stuff like that. So I used to sleep early because of them. But once I started doing my job, right, it was all over the place. Like, oh, I will start watching something in the night, and then it will get interesting, and then, oh, now it's 4 a.m. in the morning, and then you need to go to office after like several hours. So it was all over the place. And then I was also watching your uh, I think you were doing muscle building trainer at that point of time. From Mumbai, you were shooting. And that time I actually saw that you were also sleeping for 4-5 hours, because at that point of time, probably you were also trying to work out something with your sleep, right? So, then I thought, oh, probably for meeting my goals, like Kris looks healthy, he is in great shape. And I mean, he sleeps for 4-5 hours, probably that's how he is more productive. So I thought like sleep is not that important part when it comes to being healthy and getting into the shape and gaining muscles. So I was also sleeping for 4-5 hours on daily basis. But when we started talking, right, when I started working with you, you told me like, oh, by 8 p.m. you need to be in the bed. Then after that you can read something on the book, right? And then you can sleep by 10. So you need to be like, you need to have this buffer zone of 1 hour or 2 hours. Then only you will be able to sleep by 10. And then I started having a sleep of like 7 hours or 8 hours on a daily basis. And like initially for 15-20 days or 1 month, I didn't notice anything. But over the time, I noticed a big change when it comes to like, one thing I would specifically like to mention, that earlier I used to have some problem with probably I was overweight. That's why as well, which is brain fogging. Okay. But it basically disappeared after we started training. It could be because of the sleeps. It could be because of the cold baths that I've been doing, that you asked me to do, or other biohacking related stuff you did, or probably it could be basically my whole lifestyle change because of the foods I'm eating, because how active I am nowadays. It could be because of that, but that thing completely went off. I'm more productive. I like the way my brain functions now, because initially the problems that I was trying to solve, if they were taking me time t, now I feel like it has improved by 20-30% easily. That's what I've felt over last 6 months. So that's the major benefit. But I do prioritize my sleep now, because I feel that the betterment is basically a function of my sleeping habit as well.
Yeah, and that's a common thread that I've noticed with everybody that I interview or feedback from clients is that they mention about their brain clarity. And they didn't realize that they had brain fog before, or they had slow cognitive function until they come out of the fog and witness the clearing. So that's one thing that is a common thread amongst all my clients. And like you said, it's probably a combination. You're blocking the blue light, you're sleeping better, maybe you're earthing yourself, you're eating food from, healthy sources, you're supplementing cleaner, you're inviting positivity into your universe. There's a plethora of things that can contribute to that. Now, it's funny that you mentioned about watching that video trainer. I didn't know I was inspiring people not to sleep much at that time, because just so the listeners know, I had a sleep problem that I did not really know about, or I didn't realize until a little bit later. And I got mold toxicity from staying in an apartment. As you know, in Mumbai, it's very humid, and there was mold in the apartment that I was staying in, and I got mold toxicity, which led to this downward spiral of me having very little sleep. And I was having about 3 hours a lot of the time, about 3 hours sleep. But my mentality was, I'm still going to burn the candle at both ends. I'm still going to outwork you. I'm still going to work harder. And obviously that was just led to a downward spiral until I was able to biohack my sleep, go to a sleep clinic for 6 weeks, and realize the issues that I had, i.e. the mold toxicity, and then detox myself through that and work on sleep now. And since I've done so, I've witnessed the profound effect from quality sleep and going to bed much, much earlier. And that's why I try to pass that on to my clients as well, because of course we want to look good, but we want to feel good. We want to improve our health span. And sleep is that time when not only our body detoxifies itself, but our brain detoxifies itself. It has to go through that detoxification process intermittently at nighttime, so we don't have so much of a toxic environment or a chemical imbalance within our brain. So what sort of time are you going to bed now, Swama?
Yeah, so I think so. I am in bed by 8:30 or 9 generally, unless obviously. So I cannot do it every day, in the sense that most of the time I do it. The thing is that probably if you are invited in a birthday party of a really close friend, right? So in that case, you will be there. So I mean, there are those days, but mostly it's around 8 or 9 p.m. and I'm actually sleeping by 10 p.m.
And you're pretty good when you do go to these parties. You don't conform to the bad food that's available or the alcohol that's presented to you or anything like that, correct?
Yeah. So basically, I don't drink alcohol. So that has been, I feel like the bad things that I got from my lifestyle that I had in India, in the sense that the kind of foods I was eating, and so I'm not talking about Indian food specifically, but I mean the other things that are there, like street food and stuff like that. This is one good thing I got from my family, that they were not drinking alcohol. And since I was living with my family during my college time as well, right, they were keeping an eye on me. So I actually, in college, I never got introduced to alcohol as such. And after that, I started working, and so I never tried it. So in the sense, and I actually, I was never a fan of it. So yeah, but in parties when I go, so even if I'm eating, right, so I mean, I know that once we did our initial program, you have been very flexible with me. So I tell you in advance that, oh, probably this is what I'm going to do. So probably you put me on intermittent fasting on that particular day or for that period, and we try to manage the damage at that point of time. But I don't go super crazy. Like I will, so if there is rice available, I will pick the rice from there. So I will still try to stick to the clean food rather than going with something which has a lot of vegetable oil in it and things like that. So yeah, I know my choices when I'm partying as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, what we've been able to create is a little bit of flexibility. Let's say when you go on holiday and you want to try the cultural foods that's available to you, where we do go through this fasting, controlled fasting protocol, but you've gained so much muscle now during our time together that you're able to burn off a lot of those excess calories should you have anything that's excessive. You're able to, your blood sugar stability is so much more sensitive. You don't have the resistance as you obviously once did. We could see that by looking at your pictures. And you have so much more mental discipline now that you know what to do. But you're in there prepared and you're controlling your environment as opposed to allowing yourself be controlled about it. Now, how do you feel now? You know, you look back on that person that we see in those pictures that, you know, wasn't that long ago whatsoever. And you look at the person that you see in the mirror now. What is the most profound change have you noticed within yourself, whether it be mental, spiritual, physical, or whatever?
So see, I think physical changes for sure there. I mean, you can notice it. It's very noticeable. But I mean, see, I would say for me, the most intriguing part or the thing that I like the most is basically all mental health, I would say. As I talked about the brain clarity, right? How sorted out I am now when it comes to my thoughts. And basically, overall, the whole feel of it, right? Because earlier, before starting a program, right, I used to, for an example, I used to have headaches every now and then. Okay. And I used to hate them. And even if I take medicines for them, like Tylenol, for an example, right? I mean, they won't go away. Probably I developed some sort of resistance towards it, right? And I mean, something was happening. They won't go away unless I sleep and I wake up in the morning, and then probably it will go away. So there used to be such instances, right? And then I also had when I also started having gastrointestinal related issues, in the sense that I was having acid reflux sometimes, probably because I was obese. Uh, so once we did our program, and when I see now, right, all those issues are gone. I don't know last time when I had headache. Okay, I just don't know, because I think since we started our program, within after a couple of months, I stopped having them completely. And as far as I used to basically say that, oh, I didn't have cold also in last 1 year, but I had it recently, so that's gone now. But in general, my I have been quite healthy. My mental clarity has been like supreme. I have been very productive. So I mean, these are the things I'm really proud of, and I feel good about them, that I found a recipe which makes me actually more productive with my work and other stuff in my life.
So do you have people around you? Because I'd love to know your reaction to this as well, to say, all right, I'm too busy to live a healthy lifestyle like you. Or if I travel a lot, there's no way I'd be able to stick to that sort of diet. Do you get people come up to you and say that when you talk to them about your journey?
Yeah, I mean, you are talking about the cases like if you're traveling, or I mean, some other stuff, right? I mean, probably for these things, like if you're going out for a month and you were on a program for 6 months, probably, and if you go off program for a month, probably the damage won't be that much, right? I mean, it should be recoverable. But the thing is that I also had friends coming to me who just tell me like, oh, we cannot eat it, in the sense that the portions that you give me, or the things that I need to choose from, they cannot eat it, because I mean they are I mean they put so much focus into the food that they are eating. I mean, for an example, um, they said, oh, we cannot eat rice all the times, but you have other options like quinoa, for an example, or sweet potato. We cannot eat sweet potato because it's sweet. So, I mean, they have an excuse for everything, right? So, for me, the key thing is that, oh, you tell me, like, this is your sample meal plan, and these are the replacement that I know already, right? But to keep things simpler nowadays, I just eat the same food every day. So, I can stick to it, because the thing is that it goes back to seeing your video trainers, right? So I got this mentality from there. Oh, if you need to do 25 reps, you need to do 25 reps. If you need to eat your meals, you need to eat your meals. So there was a time in your muscle building trainer when, I mean, you increase calories by 200, 200, 200 every week, right? So it worked for you because you were carrying so much muscle and stuff like that. And I know that what goes into a program development, because you were presenting it to the masses, right? It was not custom made. My calories got, I was around like 170 pounds at that point of time, and my calories went to like 5,000 by increasing 200, 200, 200. I got super fat. But so that's what I'm saying. But I was basically grinding my food, but I was eating those 4,500 calories at that point of time. So I got that mentality by looking at you and from your programs. But yeah, I do have friends like they tell me the same stuff. I tell them that this is not that hard. You can easily do it. Some of them tried, got good results in 3 months, 4 months, but after that they were actually back to where they were. Probably they didn't find that sweet spot or balance, which could actually be beneficial for them in the sense that they can also be healthy, and every now and then they can have that so-called treat as well for themselves. But yeah, I do have such friends who come to me and say the same stuff.
Yeah, you get that all the time. There's everybody believes they have a unique story.
Yeah.
Can't eat this because of travel. They can't do that because they have family. They hold two jobs or they work long hours. And like you said, maybe the sweet potato has too much sweet in it. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one yet. But there's always an excuse. And there's thousands of excuses that people can choose from, but there's only a few ways to do it correctly and healthy. So what's the easier option to go for? Well, it's usually one that people justify by comfort. People don't like being uncomfortable. Like you've come to my house, you've done the ice bath, you've trained, to absolute failure with forced repetitions. You get an understanding and an appreciation of being uncomfortable. So that can have a transcendence effect into other areas of your life. So you look at meal, you look at travel, you look at anything like that, early evenings, you're like, okay, I have the discipline now. It's like automated, it automatically pops in. So now you're contributing to your health span as opposed to taking away from it. And a lot of people will look at success externally. It comes from internal appreciation. We have to look after this lifeline first that we have for ourselves in order to have the appreciation for other things outside. So I'm wondering why some of your friends have fallen off. Do you feel that going from, say, the video trainers to working, one-on-one has created more accountability? So now you can create a lifestyle out of this as opposed to like a yo-yo dieting protocol?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, accountability has been, one of the major factors that I was able to successfully do this transformation. Yeah, I was motivated for sure because it cannot get worse than that where I was for me. So accountability has been a major factor because there were times where in very low calorie deficit, in a calorie deficit when we were too deep down into our initial cut. There were times when I used to feel like, oh, I am now feeling that I won't be able to do my cardio because I'm so tired and stuff like that. But I knew that on Sunday or Monday, I need to do that check-in with you, right? So I want to make sure that I am better than what I was last week, right? So that was there, right? And I knew that if I'm not feeling good, I can always consult with you, and then we'll find out a way. But I didn't need it. I had that mental strength at that point of time, but this accountability was also there that, oh, next Monday, then when we again need to do the check-in, I don't want to be basically at the same weight, or my weight should not increase. Otherwise, you will cut down the calories further, or you will make me do further cardio, right? So it's going to be further suffering for me just because I ended up doing a couple of cheats and I had those treats for myself. So yeah, that was there for sure.
And for sure, you've been very, very good, obviously, with the the check-ins, and we speak via WhatsApp quite often. And what's been really great about this most recent progress and transformation that we're going through is that obviously we really focused on you just bringing down as much body fat as possible, and then we focused on really putting on as much muscle as possible for several months. And now we're cutting down bit by bit without a sense of urgency that we've had before. So we're able to maintain, if not build some muscle during this most recent progress that we're going through. So I don't feel that we've had to do anything drastic whatsoever on this transformation. So do you feel this transformation that you're going through is a little bit easier than the ones that you've done previously with me?
Yeah, for sure. This one is easier because I'm still getting to eat a lot of food. like before 2-3 weeks, I was also having my fruits and stuff like that. So, and the good part is that I really like, my strength in gym hasn't declined a bit. I'm still basically hitting the same weights. I'm still hitting the same reps. And actually, I'm still progressively overloading in the gym. So that's pretty good. So yeah, I mean, it has been easier. Uh, and I'm not doing that much cardio. I mean, I like doing cardio, but I mean, for sure. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, there is a upper cap to it, in the sense that if I need to do like more than 1 hour and 30 minutes, for an example, in a day, I mean, it's challenging that, in the sense that it's very hard
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
for
it, but
sure.
it's hard. Yeah.
And we don't want to go there,
Yeah.
only if we have to. We kind of try to leave that last. But I think it's essential, and you'll understand this firsthand, to do some form of cardio every single day, whether you're trying to burn fat or build muscle. Where a lot of people, when they're building muscle, they're like, no cardio. It really does help you recover. You're getting better blood flow to the area. So you've got the transportation of nutrients. You're able to increase that protein synthesis, your muscle protein synthesis response. So I think it should be a part. And of course, the most important muscle is not our pecs or our delts, it's our heart. We
Yeah.
want to
Right.
put our heart health as well. And you look very athletic. You've packed on a lot of muscle, but you look very, very athletic, which is definitely what you want to attain and what you want to go for. And I think what a lot of people consider being a vegetarian is very restrictive to sports performance or bodybuilding. And of course, if you're having a lot of beans and rice and lentils and whatever as your only protein source, then obviously it's going to be a lot more difficult with the carbohydrate content in there. But you've been able to go for your various proteins, your protein powders, whether it be isolate, casein, plantain, and then you've got your egg whites, your cottage cheese. You've really been able to have some versatility in there when you want. And of course, your carbohydrates, you've still got a bit of Dave's Killer Bread in there as well, and I'm sure that goes a lot of ways. So, what I want to do is just thank you, number one, for allowing people to hear your story, but also offering this opportunity to other vegetarians out there and the Indian community as well, that you can transform. You just have to control your environment, be persistent, be consistent, and not give in to the social circumstances that people usually encourage you to participate in, which is only going to lead to a demise. Of course, you can still participate, but you don't have to participate in the bad inflammatory foods, overconsumption of alcohol, or stupidly late nights every single weekend. There's got to be some sort of balance in there, and more often than not, it's got to be that balance that's going to take care of your health span as opposed to take away from it. So I applaud you for that, sir.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me today, Swami. Is there anything that you'd want to, is there any message that you want to give to any of the listeners or the viewers that are watching this on YouTube at all?
I think it's I think most people think that this is really hard to go through a transformation. And I mean, even if your goal is like being mentally healthy or being overall healthy, or you're looking for that physique that you want to achieve, it initially looks hard, but I feel that if you have the right guidance, access to the right resources, and you have a bit of mental strength, like to stick with what you are being told to do, I think it's not that hard. You just need to follow what's being asked you to do, and I think results will definitely come. And it's really not that hard. That's what I found out, that if you can stick to the plan, if you have access to the right resources, I mean, it's really not that hard. And especially with even if you have dietary restrictions like me, that I'm a vegetarian, even after that, you have so many sources, right, to actually meet your macros. I didn't feel that it was really restrictive. I felt that I had great options available to myself. So I would say that if you want to do it, it's very easy. Anyone could do it. You just need to have access to the right resources. And I mean, I was good that I ended up founding out that bodybuilding program and I got to know you, so that we started working together eventually. And then, yeah, now we are here.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you very much. And are you comfortable, should anybody want to reach out to you for any questions at all? Are you comfortable to give out how people can find you?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you can reach out to me on my Instagram. So my Instagram is T for Tiger, Y, A for Apple, GI_SAUMYA. So this is basically Tyagi_Soumya. So just reach out to me, drop me a DM if you have any question. And yeah, I would be happy to answer it.
Awesome. Thank you ever so much. And for those of you that are watching this as well, or you go to the show notes, we'll make sure that we'll put your Instagram handle in there as well. So you can click on that and, shoot Swama any questions, or, you want to provide some support to his awesome transformation, please do. But thank you ever so much. Really appreciate your time. And it's an absolute pleasure working with you. It honestly is. You make my life so much easier working with you, knowing that your check-ins are always spot on. It's very predictable in a great way. So thank you ever so much.
Yeah.
So from myself, Kris and Swama, this is the Kris Gethin podcast. Until next week, we are out. Thank you ever so much for listening. My name is Kris Gethin, and I am out.